Multifamily Mindset
Podcast. Think bigger.
Kyle Brown. And today I want to go into something just a little bit different. I want to talk about just networking events and why they're a game changer. Right? So these can absolutely change your multifamily journey. And I know some of you guys already are thinking, look, do I really need to go to these things? Can't I just watch like a YouTube video, send some emails, and just call it good? No. Your network is your net worth. And I'm sure you guys have heard that 1,000,005 times. But please listen, when it comes to multifamily, who you know is just as important as what you know. And it's just as important as who knows you. So today I'm going to break down why networking events are such a game changer and how to approach them. So how do you actually get results instead of just collecting business cards randomly and then you never look at it again? Right? So let's get into it. First of all, if you want to succeed in multifamily, you have to understand one thing. This business is all about relationships. This business runs on relationships. I mean, think about it. Brokers don't send their best deals to strangers. They send them to investors they know and trust. Investors don't just hand over money to someone they've never met. They invest in people they believe in. And then the same thing goes for property managers, contractors, lenders. Everyone in this business prefers to work with people they know, like, and trust. So now you ask, where do you build those relationships? Well, that is exactly what this is about. Networking events. That's where you go. So that conference or that local meetup, peak, that is industry happy hour, right? Sometimes it might seem small, but it could lead to your next big deal, your next investor, or even a mentor who can change your life. I've seen it happen, and I know people who landed their first multi-million-dollar deal just because they shook the right hand at an event. So if you're serious about investing, you have to put yourself in the room. Now, putting yourself in the room might not just be enough, right? There's always just a little bit more that we can do. But now that you're convinced with getting into the room, let's talk strategy, right? Because here's the thing, just showing up, again, is not enough. You need to be intentional about how you network. So let's have a game plan, right? We'll break it down to a couple steps. Step one, have a game plan. Before you even step foot into the event, ask yourself, who do I want to meet? Is it brokers, investors, partners, right? What's your goal? Are you trying to build relationships, find a mentor, raise capital? And how are you going to introduce yourself? Pro tip, maybe you want to brush up on that elevator pitch that you were working on earlier, right? Because the more prepared you are, the more confident and effective that you'll be. Step two, and this is extremely important for networking events, you need to focus on giving and not just taking. Because too many people I've seen going to networking events thinking, hey, how can I get something? When the real question should be, how can I give value? Remember, people remember you when you can help them. Maybe you know somebody looking for a deal in a certain market, and you connect with them, and you connect them with a certain broker. Maybe you have experience in marketing and can share some tips. The more you give, the more you get. And step three, be the person that people want to talk to. And what I mean by that is, have you ever been like stuck in a conversation with someone who's just talking about themselves the entire time? Yeah, exactly. Don't be that person, right? Ask questions and listen more than you speak, and be genuinely interested in the person in front of you. And I know sometimes you might think, well, that's tough. The conversations are dragging. I'm not enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, guess what? That is maybe a conversation or a person that you don't necessarily want to try and build a relationship if you're truly not enjoying it. This is meant to be enjoyable. The best networkers are not the ones who are doing all the talking. They're the ones that are building real relationships. And here's one of the biggest mistakes I want to mention that I see people make when they go to a networking event. They end up going to this event and they meet a bunch of great people. Then they do what? They do nothing with those connections. Let me tell you something. Networking doesn't end when the event does. Within the next day or two, I need you to follow up with the people that you met. You'll send an email or a LinkedIn message. And if it was really valuable conversation, see if you can schedule a follow-up call, because you want to do what you can to keep that relationship alive. I don't want our newfound relationship to start and end at the same time as that event that we went to. So here's the deal. If you guys are one of those who are not going to networking events right now, you're missing out on opportunities that could change your life. And I get it. Some of you guys might be introverts, and maybe networking just feels a little bit awkward, just kind of putting yourself in the space. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And trust me, once you land your first deal or partnership from networking, you'll be absolutely hooked. So here's a challenge for you guys listening. I want you to find a networking event this coming month and commit to going. Not just showing up and going in on a plan and making real connections and following up afterward. Like, I really want you to try and make those connections and actually do the follow-up. Set that in your calendar. Make sure you follow up with people. Create those relationships. If you guys do that, I promise you will start seeing the results. Now, I know that was a little bit today. Now, I'll go into more and more about networking, especially as we're getting up and closer to MFM's peak partnership. Excited to see all of you guys there. But as of now, that's all we have for today's episode of the Multifamily Minute. I want you all to get out there, start networking, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
Multifamily Mindset
Podcast. Think bigger.